What's going on, guys? Master Coach and Education Director Aaron Guyett here with the Living.Fit show, and I have the absolute honor, I should say absolute, it's Master of Sport International class honor of having Denis Vasilev on the Living.Fit show. And for any of you that have been tuning in for a long time, you have probably seen a few conversations here and there with Denis. And for any of you that have even had the smallest inkling of getting into kettlebell sport, chances are you've probably seen some of his incredible feats. This man is almost like not a human. Now, I know he's a human, and I know we'll probably talk about this when we talk back and forth, but the level of discipline, the level of consistency, if there was ever a quintessential or perfect person to point to why consistency is so important, I would go to Denis every single time. And then I am absolutely honored to call this man my friend. We've spent a ton of time together over the course of almost the last decade now. Which is crazy to say. And unfortunately, in the last couple of years, it's been much more digital than in person, but I'm hoping to get a big old Denis hug in the near future. And Denis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my friend. Great to see you. Hello, everybody. Yeah, great honor to see you, brother.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, great, man. We're doing awesome. So, I think the first thing, I've heard this a few times, but every single time I get to pick up something new. And for anybody who obviously is watching and or listening, they haven't heard this. And so I usually ask, like, how do you get into fitness? But I think because kettlebell sport is such a mainstay of your life, and you've acquired so many championships and accolades and Master Sport International classes over the course of over a decade now. How did you get into kettlebell sport? What was that? And then and your accent betrays you. You're Russian, obviously. For those that don't know, that didn't pick that up, obviously from Russia, but working in the U.S. So how did you get into kettlebell sport?
Well, that was quite an accident, which I'm really grateful to now, and it's crazy, look backward now how it's all started. I mean how important it is now for me, and how much I enjoy it and how much I believe in it now. And it's totally wasn't like that at the very beginning, because I originally, I was athletic kid, but I was a mixed martial artist. That kind of was my passion, and I was doing it from very young age, age 7, I started practicing mixed martial arts, and I pretty much went through elementary school and middle school up to high school being mixed martial artist. And then, this teenager age, like 15 years old. Big part of it also was, this culture arrived to Russia like a Schwarzenegger, like a big guy. So I kind of get pulled to this direction and start thinking, maybe attending a school gymnasium. And I did. I started working out, machines. And then once just our teacher of a physical culture show up and say, okay, guys, kettlebell sport competition's coming. Don't let me down. Let's put the team together. Competition, city championship among schools. And he dropped double 24s. And said, okay, jerk. And whoever was in this room, in this gymnasium, your best jerk you can. One, first, second, third. So it was my turn. I did 25 reps. Have no idea. Insertion, reg position, come on, it just bell should be over the head. So whatever ideas you have how to put them over the head, so just go for it. So I did 25 jerks and then 25 snatches, and he said, okay, good enough. You have a month to train. See you on competition. So That's it. That was the start. That's well, I mean, yeah, it just was treated as, just a part of, like, just another exercise alongside with, I don't know, bench press and squats, and that's how my preparation this first months looks like. I just totally by my own was doing basically my best attempt for jerk, best attempt for snatch, and continue with machines. So wasn't much understanding, wasn't much sympathy. Was a honor and just pride being chosen to represent school. And I think, okay, that's probably what you should do, to be this uh, athletic guy, cool guy, representative of your school. And that took me, I think, another 2 years to just get understanding of what's going on. And when I met my first coach, 2001, that's where, and if I really start to feel benefits of kettlebell sport and actually enjoyment, I start to understand technique better. Yeah, and that's, I can say, like a kind of my career start.
Yeah, and so then, of course, that led you to compete for Russia and compete on the world stage, not only in the regional competitions in Russia, but kettlebell sport. It wasn't completely invading the globe like it's seeming to do now, right? But it was in a lot of other countries, and they're lifting kettlebell sport too, right? And so was that kind of your way of and I'm guessing, was that St. Petersburg, or were you somewhere else at this time?
Well, I started in Kaliningrad
Oh, okay, yeah.
city. That's kind of on the west of Russia, till 2005. I was there, and then from 2005 I moved to St. Pete. Yeah, but till 2010, till first XFA certification course in St. Pete that my coach and his friends, his teammates organized, and I back then was invited just as a talented student. And that was the moment when I met John Wild and Jason Dolby, all of us, my new friends. Till that moment, for me, kettlebell sport was pretty much like a duty. Well, was just a way um, to make a living, and it just some things that I was good at. And while I was busy, when you're good, you're busy. You have offers to compete for this team, for that team, for some local competitions, like lots of different. It's kind of like, well, in states probably like a baseball or football or basketball. I mean, I even have no ideas, but I can imagine because of the popularity. Probably, if you're a decent player, you will have many different offers, here, there, school, job. So that's what was going on with me. So, and yeah, I was just kind of focused on my own performance. And I was working as a trainer, in a personal trainer in the fitness club. And I was doing just a fitness coaching. I wasn't using kettlebell sport. But even in Russia, my clients start kind of, how say, cutting me on, like, doing something different than I asking them to do. For example, like, I have, spot between one-on-ones, couple hours. I squeeze my own training, so I do my routine. It's, walk cycle, jerk, or snatch, and like, I'm finished, and then I start one-on-one. So some clients can come a bit sooner, and they say, like, what are you doing? Why are you lifting kettlebells, and why are you asking us to do this barbells, and all this, like, all this machines work. And I even honestly, wasn't thinking that it might be interesting, for just people who just wants to be fit. And I said once, okay, let's try it. If you want it, let's give it a shot. And that's how, through maybe just a year, I totally kind of renew my clients to kettlebell lifters. So by 2011, that was only the specialization I was doing in the gym. I was doing only kettlebell sport, and that was amazing opening for me. And even greater um amazement was to see this first XFA course when I saw that actually people all over the world excited about kettlebells, and that's kind of made me think like from a bit different angle. Okay, what I was doing all these years, because again I was just earning my I know. My check, to just live, and I just was good at it. But then I start thinking, wow, it's really interesting. Not only is the way of just perform for strong guys, but just to be fit, and that's pretty much what I do last decade or more, since 2010. Well, it's affected a lot my own performance, because I start understand, okay, if the brand new person wants to get into this sport, what will be the best way to do it, the safest way, the most interesting way, excited way. And through that I understood how rough was my own journey, lack of just methodology, and scientific organized progressions. Like with these questions, I apply for University of Physical Culture in St. Petersburg 2010. So my whole education there through 5 years was again digging deeper into kettlebell sport through methods that was used for other sports. So that's how I ended up with my tutorial book about outdoor training methodology.
Yeah. Which so you said you have basically rewritten it. You've like kind of done a second edition or expanded on it, and then you were talking earlier before we obviously hopped on this, but you were talking about being able to see like all of your numbers, like from the very beginning, and kind of taking a snapshot of like your progress and where you were, excelling, and then maybe not doing as well or whatever. So talk me through that. Obviously, you have a book; it's for sale. They can buy it on Amazon. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and so is this the second edition, or is this a new expanded, different book?
Second edition is coming, and nothing wrong with the first one. Now I'm just going deeper, and it's been almost 6 years since I've published my first edition, and just gain a bit more experience, a bit more thoughts in my head, and I just filling up. It's again I just going through chapters, and I'm filling them in with information, with the deeper information, more examples of training programs ready to use, more explanation of training methods. More data analytics. Well, in myself, since I'm never stop and I'm keep lifting, I just kind of made overlooks through my performances. And you've mentioned about consistency is my thing, and what I've discovered through this analytics. I'm totally proving this theory, and I really believe in it, and that's what I'm trying to. That's my main point when I'm do teaching, when I do coaching, when I'm working with my students. When it comes to some ambitious targets. When someone say I wants to be a champion, I wants to be a master of sport, I wants to be fit, I wants to lose weight, whatever I want. First thing is consistency. All other things are secondary. What particular methodology you will use, even what particular sport you will use. It's also, I'm a representative of just this kettlebell sport, but I totally respect all many other sports that can pretty much bring you to the same level of shape, physical perfection, and whatever consistency. Yeah. So interesting that. Well, it's divisions, and again the difference between beginner kettlebell lifter and professional kettlebell lifter in the weight of this tool of kettlebell, and that's I think what makes our family so tight. Yeah, I call it family, kettlebell family. It's quite amazing. at least on my experience, never met anything like that in other sport. So how friendly and just easy kettlebell sport community, and that's maybe because of this cool, unique tool, same shape, different color, rainbow colors. Because everyone can use it, and the difference is just the weight of kettlebells. But we're pretty much following same training methodologies. We're heading to this, final test, and we're just lifting different weights, maybe different reps, but we're totally speaking same language. So that's why there is no misunderstanding, with professionals and beginners. Can have a great, deep, philosophical conversation with my new student about kettlebell sport. Well, who have at least a few months of experience, because we kind of just working on the same things, and you're picking up really quick. What it's like to go through 10-minute set. And myself, 20 years. This year, actually, 2021, 20 years since I started lifting 32s. 2001, I have a first record. It was, let me see, it was February 23rd, 2001. And my very first result was 70 reps with long cycle 32s. And my very best is 102 on April 18th, 2015. So it took me only 14 years to get to my best result. And I can see that I've done 58 competition sets through 20 years, which is average about three performances a year. To get ready for each performance, you need at least 2 months. So that's half of the year. And other half, that's another page of statistics. That's a biathlon, that's a jerk and snatch. So basically I haven't any breaks through this last 20 years. And I think that's the reason why I feel it so deep now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you live and breathe it, most definitely. I mean, and you're the kettlebell sporter, right? Because if you're training, when you're not training for long cycle, you're training for biathlon, and when you're not training for biathlon, you're training for long cycle. And the cool part is, I feel like that gives you a perspective that maybe a coach that only focuses on long cycle, but they coach both biathlon and long cycle, you get a perspective that's different, because you're in the trenches all the time, as well as I just love your consistency, yes, but also your analytical mind. Like, you see things fairly linearly. You're able to organize it, test the theories, right, in these organizations, in these methodologies, like you're saying, and then make adjustments, right, to try to improve for the next time, whether it's your own training or anybody that you're training. And I'm pretty certain I've got your book back here. I don't want to take too much time, but I'm fairly certain it's sitting on my shelf right there. So yeah.
What I'm most proud of now and happy is how fast kettlebell sport growing, and how better organized it is now, and just overall whole environment, and just the wrap of it. Because again, when I just start teaching, even when I just start lifting, I just mentioned you about that it's wasn't much advice. It's like the way how I'm treating my students now, and what I was dealing with before, it just day and night. And it's not because it was not nice people around me. Just methodology wasn't there. It just was total lack of it. One thing that back then, even just this social medias wasn't that advanced. I believe Facebook wasn't even there at all yet, and YouTube, I'm not sure, was it 2001 or not. Definitely I wasn't using it yet, so it wasn't that easy, to just like now you can Google and the list of things, videos, even just by videos or some interviews like we're doing now, you can collect some information. And I was like, dying to find something, and I wasn't able to. Just the best thing, happened is another teacher. He had some like really old school, like a printed book with some basic, some graphics, and that was just so lots of information for me back then. wow. And yeah, through all these years, I just feel almost ashamed, like how it's such a great sport and it's so hard to just find information about it. And that's what I was working on all these years. Beside just getting better myself, I was trying to just explain things and yeah, put them in order. Well, through experience, through conversations with others, through educational process. And I'm again super happy with the book I wrote. Like I believe that it's probably translated to English. It's a second book ever existed with a well explained training methodology, which you actually can use and get some result from it. And the very first one
Yeah.
was written by Sergey Rudnev, and I think it was published by XFA, the organizer of this
Hmm.
first international
Yeah.
certifications, and he's the representative of his own training method, different from mine. And
Yeah.
myself, and Rudnev, I think he posted about 2010,
Yeah.
and myself, I did it 2015, and I wish more books like that will come out, because I know in my experience that there is more training methods rather than only myself and Rudnev. Uh, but guys just maybe cannot find time. Some things exist in Russian but not translated to English. So, but anyways, right now it's totally different level. Totally different level. We can already choose among several methodologies. This educational process start internationally with a workshop, certification courses. So that's a great thing what happened, and well, that's one of the reasons why more and more people get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so I know you've done a ton of traveling, and I know back in the day, it was Dolby and Buckley. They're the road dogs, they call themselves, right? Doing a bunch of traveling as well, teaching. But you've, I mean, really, again, your consistency plays out. Again, another incredible result where you're flying to different countries, and there's a few of you that are doing this, but the amount of work that you're putting in to not only help train all these people in these other countries, but also help them set up competitions. So now there's this huge network of competitions, and then you're doing again even more work analyzing, pulling in the data points, pulling in the lifts, pulling in the numbers, to create spreadsheets so that people can really understand where they're at in relation to other people, and even have like sort of a whole annual slash year slash or I'm sorry, annual slash world understanding of who's who in kettlebell sport. So pretty incredible. Can you walk us through some of that, and then kind of talk us through some of the maybe even upcoming competitions, but also some of the, I'm sure there's story after story after story of going to different countries, meeting different people with different culture, but then having this thing that is kettlebell sport that's the same. I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, competitions. I think it's when it comes to athletic performance, is one of the best motivators and to just keep going. Even compare, well, at least in my experience, just fitness workouts with machines to kettlebell sport. It's kind of more kind of clear, direct, and focused process because you have a deadline. It's good to have deadlines. When you don't have deadline, you might lost the track. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a deadline. Okay. So it's here. It's in your calendar. So okay, that's when I should start. I better not skip the workouts. I'll keep going. I'm building up, building up, building up. I get ready for competitions. And uh, again, for professionals, they really kind of, the whole point for them is to get as better result on competitions as possible, because that's how they get paid or awarded, whatever. Uh, for fitness community, actually, more important part, I think, this whole training process and kind of competition performance kind of secondary. And I think it's actually mentally it's the best approach even for professionals. As less excited you will be about your competitions, and as kind of calm you will treat this performance that just it's another final workout, just kind of accumulation of everything that you've done. Actually, as better your result will be at the end. uh, but again, kind of honest um, effectivity or excellence of your performance based on your consistent workout. That's one of the reasons why I came up with this idea of clubs competitions, because I experienced this great motivator on myself. But before that, it was again only these professional federations where, well, beginner or even just person who curious, they have no access. Only national members, national team members can go there. So it's like very special people can go there. And I just saw that it's kind of wrong. We should have, it's available for everyone. And actually, even I think it's a great support for these professional organizations, because beginners, everyone beginners, it's at some point, and I think that's a resource for future champs and professionals. So what I do, the Kettlebell World League is uh, worldwide community of kettlebell sport clubs and organizations. Pretty much any organized form of kettlebell lifters, whatever they call themselves, are welcome to join and participate. And there's a wide variety and options of discipline, different weights. When we're talking about what was before, for men only 32. That's all what you can do.
Yeah.
That's it. Wants to compete, 10-minute long cycle, 32 kilograms. So that's kind of, 24th regional competitions can be, but for sure no 16s. Men, 24th, it's a regional, go national, only 32s, which is really tough call, really tough call. And, that's why, again, I think even for professionals who wants to rise to the top faster, or for people who never thinking to be a professional, it's more important to have a smoother weight progression and more options. 12 kilo, like for girls, 8 kilograms, 12 kilograms, 16s, 20s, 24s. For guys, 16s, 20s, 24s. So it's much safer. It's good for correct technique foundation. So that's again what we have in Kettlebell World League, and we even call it divisions: beginner division, semi-amateur, amateur, semi-professional, professional. So it's really work well with your training schedule, because you're not spending all year on 32 kilogram kettlebells. Even myself, being a professional, I just mentioned that it's maybe 3 times a year I do 32s, but the rest of the time I'm just always doing this progression from lightweights to heavy. And when I have the World League available, so even on the middle of my preparation, let's say I'm on 24th now, but I still can register and, just when it was in-person competition, fly somewhere to some cool place, I know Indonesia, Mexico, Canada, pretty much like all over the world. We have about, like this year, we have 28 locations all over the world. So you can go, you can meet people, you can have fun, you can do your set down.
So are you flying to these competitions right now with the COVID stuff, or is it certain ones you can and certain ones you can't, or what has sort of been? Yeah.
Well, I was active, very active, up to this pandemic arrived, and my kind of busiest year, I think, was busiest year on the road was 2016. I think I've done about 40 events total, workshops and competitions pretty much every week. Every weekend was going somewhere. With this pandemics, everything switched to online, which another thing I'm very proud of. um, well, I mean, proud of kettlebell sport, how well it just went through it, because maybe when it just all started, I was scared for a moment. What's happened? All competitions will be cancelled. What's with training cycles? There is no target for you. No competitions.
Yeah.
People will start training, lost motivation. But just maybe a couple of weeks it took, and Trisha Donk, you probably know Trisha. She was the
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
because like this pandemic kind of hit like March 2020, and her Vancouver Open annual event is always like early April. And she said, Dennis, I'm going online. I'm not canceling. We keep going. I say, okay, let's do it. And then pam, pretty much all of the competitions that was in calendar and supposed to go in person 2020, they all switched to online, and we pretty much haven't, well, couple competitions maybe was postponed. Guys kind of canceled the date because they need time to regroup a little, but they eventually just anyways went online. So kettlebell sport haven't slowed down even for a bit through this pandemic, and we just bring bells home, did our training cycles home, and just set up the camera and compete. And now when things kind of luckily thankfully easing up a little bit, we have in-person competitions this year coming, and my first in-person competition will be July 31st. It will be Pan American Games. And U.S. Nationals for AOKL, different organization, which I also I'm just super happy about this event coming. It's kind of another topic to talk about, but several organizations exist, and it's been time when there was quite a competitions. Who's more important? Who's more valuable organization? Some restrictions, one organization against another. And I also kind of felt sad about it back then, and I felt like there is no reason. It's like several trainers working in one gym, and they totally fine. Everyone have own personality, and as many coach personalities as many student personalities, and everyone will find their people. So same about organization. So it's getting better too, and I'm super happy that we'll have this meeting in July. I was invited, well, as the athlete, but also as a IKO leader to IUKL event, and I'm super excited about it to support guys and finally, make some collaboration work, respect each other calendar. So that's a great thing. But internationally, I think I'm not planning anything this year. I kind of, just it's still unstable situation.
Yeah.
It seems like things going all right in the United States, but in Europe, it's some countries doing better, some countries not.
Yeah.
And when you fly somewhere far, there's connecting flights, and I just feel it's possible, but I honestly feel like, I don't want to be this guy who will be overloading planes in these uncertain times where,
Yeah.
still, a little bit of attention and uncertainty. We passed that or not yet.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of thinking to take this 2021 as just transition year and maybe do domestic competitions in States in person and international competitions online. And if everything will go as well as it's going now with all this vaccination, then 2022 should be the year when we'll hit the road again. And that's another cool part about kettlebell sport, that it's always after parties. Well, and it's again, it's just cool. It's nothing crazy or bad going on there. It's not like some fights or drunk parties. It's just this amazing, beautiful, just nice celebration of another fit day. Sometimes like even OKC used to do a karaoke's, air guitars. Oh, maybe a couple of beers, but that's it. Because everyone knows the training cycle start tomorrow, so you should have fun, but not too much of fun. And it's always great, Like again, you just have everything complete. Everyone have their own motivation, and again, someone enjoying training process, so like myself. Someone wants to get to competition and stage and platform, wants to maybe do his set for his mom or his wife or girlfriend. Someone looking for after parties because you feel like if you're not training, if you're not competing, you kind of feel guilty to have fun or this beer or something, or this cake or this pizza. But when you did a great training cycle, you did a great competition, you feel like you deserve it, and it just tastes better and everything feels right. Like it's different scientific explanations of training process, but one of them that Coach Rudnev explained, he breaking training process on stages, and it's kind of a four stages of training. And I think that's something that John Wild actually came up with. He said he named this after party stage 5. So it's
exactly.
first stage that's kind of intro workouts, like second, third, fourth stage that's finalizing and performance, and here stage 5 that's after parties, reset, let the steam go out, and then you're ready for stage 1 again.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah. So obviously competitions have basically gone online. And then it sounds like you're erring on the side of safety. Also it would just be a bummer to have to get stuck in a bunch of different countries and on quarantines and things like that, just to try to make it somewhere as well. That would create quite a logistical nightmare if you're trying to continue your tapered training program towards the competition or starting stage 1 again, right? Or starting your training again, coming home. So totally understand that. So, but obviously with the online, that's something that you've been doing. You've been doing online coaching before the pandemic, right? Before COVID, before all of that stuff. And I remember, Coach Dolby talking to me about that, Jason Dolby talking to me about that all the time, and having you as his coach and walking that through. So for anybody that's, listening to this and they're like, okay, I want the stage 5 party, or I want to get up on, the platform and do this for myself or my mom or, whatever it might be, or maybe they're looking for something to, motivate them because now they have a deadline or, whatever it is. How would they start asking you to be their coach or get some programming for you? And is that available? And how would that work?
Yeah, that's I think again another big benefit of kettlebell sport is quite a wide range of possible ways to train kettlebell sport and to perform. And it's like we can say the excellent scenario when you have coach by your side. Obviously, every single workout, he can see you. He can just pick every single, detail of your technique. He can look in your eyes, can tell you, okay, you're ready for a big set today or you're not. But especially for kettlebell sport, since it's, again, kind of, at least on its beginnings, have very few specialists who can coach it. It was difficult for everyone who wants do kettlebell sport to have his coach by his side. So that's why, it just wasn't many options. And that's why guys like me start receiving messages and say like, hey, Denis, I want to do kettlebell sport, but you are in Russia, I'm here in States, how we can make it work. And just, again, this process, start thinking, because, well, I always was writing down my programs. There's obvious training methodology, and kind of it's not a problem to write it down, but you need to collect information about your student because it's still individual. And with modern technologies now, with high resolution cameras, it's actually quite effective because the way I'm doing it now is if I have an opportunity to see my future student at all, if he's somewhere or she's somewhere far, so first thing I do is a complimentary Zoom intro session, because I need to see a student. If he or she have experience, don't have experience, I need to see a couple reps. I can right away point most fundamental important tips for first couple weeks. Okay, it's hand insertion, technique basics.
Yeah.
So when I make sure that we are kind of have understanding about that I can say, okay, in general everything is all right. That's the moment when I can start writing basic workouts. And what I do is I'm checking on my student once a week at least. So that's called, again, microcycle.
Yeah.
1 week of preparation for kettlebell sport. Well, recommended volume, and that's what I do myself, is 3 workouts a week. Totally doable schedule, possible to fit it to pretty much any lifestyle, even, with a busy family life or job. For beginners, even you don't need that many hours as professionals. I can say 3 hours a week will do, and you will be able to progress and get to your 10-minute set. So once a week, usually last workout of the week is kind of like a test, kind of a best workout of the week, and I'm usually asking a video of this set. So person recorded it, sending it to me, and what I do is we're sharing a Google spreadsheet where I'm writing workouts, student filling it in with his results, plus I'm watching the video link, and I kind of put everything together. I can see was numbers performed as requested. If not, I try to find out why. It's technique issues, that's maybe schedule issues. So I'm analyzing that, writing a feedback, and sending another week, and so far and so forth. And that's how this process goes, and it works really well. Again, when it's and that's another reason where before pandemic I was trying to attend as many competitions as possible international, because that was my meeting with my students, with my online students. So at least we can meet each other at competitions. Let's say we do remotely the preparation and training cycle, but at least we met in this moment of competitions, and I can lead my students through this set, and we can do like a one-on-one session and kind of go through mistakes, well, whatever we have talked to, So that's how it works.
And so, and the best way to get a hold of you is your website or through Instagram, or what would be the best way?
Yeah. Website is the main resource of information, and on my website, I kind of again, it's everything I do now is the part of kind of a big dream and big mission of just have a kettlebell sport perfectly organized, like tasty as candy, that it's everything on its shelf and it's everything ready to go. And what we need for that is we need technique guides, we need methodology guides. So educational part, well, obviously some consultants,
Mm-hmm.
coaches, and then we need competitions. And like right now, I can say that that's pretty much mission accomplished, because if you will go to my website, you can find all of these topics covered. And again, I'm trying to um, make it as accessible as possible.
Yeah.
Because I understand that it's everyone have a different budget, and even myself, I wasn't able to afford a coach when I was young, but I want to train so hard. And again, it's like you compare, like I value my time, but it's also some things that I feel like it's easy for me to share. And it's even eventually like easier for me as the coach later work with my student if he already prepared. So that's why, like basics, I just working hard to fill up my YouTube with all this information of basic technique understanding, and it's all you can find on my website leading through YouTube. So it's a self-education, and I'm talking there about technique, about methodology. Then you can get my book on my website also. You can read it. If you need a bit more than that, if you're watching it, if it doesn't make much sense to you, or there still have some questions, you can reach out to me, and I do online personal training, which is kind of no obligations. You just set up the the meeting, 45-minute session. You can pick what you want to do. You want to do long cycle, jerk, snatch. You want to do methodology. So it's kind of work for people who maybe kind of doing well. Everything is okay. They know kind of what to do, but they have occasional questions here, there. They just want kind of opinion, and that's the best thing to do. I think to just go with single one-on-one session online, and then some other people who may be really interested in my method, who wants to um, coach guidance. So there is options of online coaching, and it's also by giving several options like a short-term coaching for only one competition, or mid-term coaching for like a half of the year or full year. We can cover and do several training cycles in a row. So that's also a possibility.
And your website is it's what is it?
Denis Vasilev Kettlebell.
There you go. And that's Denis Vasilev Kettlebell.com.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. My first and last name, kettlebell.com.
Well, so, obviously we could go really into the weeds and we could really nerd out on some of the history in kettlebell sport, or some of the newer methodologies that are being discovered, and or different countries that now kettlebell sport is a part of. And I think what most people probably want is maybe a deeper look into the stage 5 part of the of the training. So maybe the future interview that we will do will be in a stage 5 when we're back in person, and we do a little whether it's camping or party or karaoke or whatever. We'll do a candid interview during that stage 5 process. But Denis, it's been incredible to have you on. And we asked this question of all of our guests as the kind of the final question. And that question is, what is Living Fit to you? So obviously, people, you've got a list that's longer than my Christmas wish list of accolades and championships and medals and all sorts of just incredible feats, especially and specifically with the kettlebell and kettlebell sport. But you've also worked with so many different types of clients and literally all around the world. And you've dabbled in multiple languages. Obviously you speak Russian and English really well. And then even, a few other languages, at least partially, if not fully. So I would love to hear your perspective on what is Living Fit.
Well, I think it's very important to treat your body with same amount of respect as you treat your brain. And what I mean by that is, well, even the way how I was raised, like my parents are doctors, kind of educated people, and and even like many people I know with brilliant minds, but who don't pay attention to their body, and they're thinking, well, it's anyone can work out, just get a better education, be smart, just get a good job, and that's what makes you a successful person and accomplished person in your life. But I think that it's same important part of our life to pay as much attention to our body, because at the end, even being a great scientist, you better have a healthy body, have a good vision, good blood pressure, so you will create a bit longer. And that's what I think. To live fit is just live in peace and balance, with your body. And we're not talking about being a world champion. That's a little bit of kind of overkilling, just really kind of shifting hard. And I think a fit life, when everything balance, when we paying just right amount attention to everything that's surrounded us, and we are beside just being pay attention to our education. We also pay attention to our physical education, and just being active, and have, well, again, as the way you organize, your business career. Well, this way you should organize your physical activity. Have some a bit of a time in your life schedule, in your week schedule for physical activity. It's totally up to you. All of the sports on the plate. You don't need to be kettlebell lifter. I will not hate you for that. Please, be a swimmer, be a fencer, be a boxer. Like I want to just see people happy and healthy. Be able to live their life, do whatever they want to do in their life. Being a science, being a painter, being an athlete. But it's just important to have a healthy life, and not everything in our hands, but at least what is in our hands is just being disciplined and treat our body with respect. Working out, eat a good food, once in a while have fun, but mostly eat a good food, just uh, enjoying the life, because eventually when you're in this routine, you have enough energy, you have a good mood, and you just do all of the things, all of the fun things in your life. So that's what I think is a live fit, is to have balance and peace, with your body and your brain and your stomach.
That's awesome. I love that, Denis. Denis, brother, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time telling us all of the things kettlebell sport, as well as just giving us a little sneak peek into how you became such a badass. And thanks for the
Thanks a lot,
insights on Living Fit. Thank you.